HP's decision to introduce a design overhaul in its Omen series of gaming laptops last year received a warm welcome all around. After all, why should such a powerful piece of hardware be socially unsuitable for office, college, and other professional settings? The company has continued that design on the 2021 edition of the Omen 15 that I have with me right here. It has been my daily driver for almost a month now, and just recently I started using the Lenovo Legion 5 2021, whose review should be out very soon. As the name implies, I have the 15 inches variant of this laptop, whereas HP also sells it in 16 and 17 inches configurations. Here, even this 15 inches Omen is not exactly backpack friendly as it weighs 2.46 kgs. As for the build quality, this laptop is constructed entirely out of polycarbonate aluminum hybrid material. As a result, this device does not feel as premium as one might expect. There's a definite flex on this laptop's lid, and I'd be extra careful before placing anything on top of the Omen 15. Plus, it catches fingerprints and smudges pretty easily, although it's nothing a simple swipe cannot get rid of. Although I wish this hinge was sturdier, I am thankful for the fact that it can lay 180 degrees flat like this. On the front, like most gaming laptops in 2021, the Omen 15 has minimal bezels on the sides, but HP is still hanging on to the traditionally large bezel on the top and a bigger chin. Moving on, I am not a fan of its sharp edges either. Using the laptop for long hours is a pain in the arm, complemented by press marks around the wrist. And this top design might fool you for a front-firing speaker setup. Those are simply ventilation grills for helping with the airflow. The actual speakers are on the bottom edges instead. Regardless, I am pretty satisfied with its audio output. As expected, these are Bang & Olufsen tuned, and the sound quality gets loud with relatively crisp and clear mids and highs, although it does not deliver in terms of bass. Okay, in terms of I/O, the Omen 15 selection isn't half bad. The left frame houses a barrel pin power connector alongside an LED indicator, one RJ45, one Type A port with HP Sleep and Charge, one HDMI 2.1, one 3.5mm combo audio jack, and one multi-format SD card reader. Over on to the right are a couple of Type A connections, both without HP Sleep and Charge, a mini display port, and finally a Type C port. However, I don't like how all the USB 3.2 ports here are Gen 1 and not the faster Gen 2 protocol, which brings faster data transfer rates of up to 10 Gbps. Alright, let's now talk about the display. Here you can configure it either a 165Hz QHD screen or the 144Hz FHD screen. The one I have with me is an inferior 144Hz Full HD display. The 165Hz variant boasts 100% DCI-P3 colors, contrary to the 100% sRGB gamut on the 144Hz model. So if your workload consists of photo or video editing and such, then get the one with the QHD display instead. Otherwise, this Full HD variant is more than enough for many. Anyhow, Omen 15 screen has served me well. Its color accuracy is quite great and viewing angles are excellent too. I cannot complain about the brightness of this thing either. With an advertised 300 nits of brightness, the Omen 15 manages to stay visible indoors and even outdoors. Furthermore, I am glad to report that my unit of this laptop hits 351.2 nits of peak brightness. On top of this, HP is not overstating the color space of this laptop. It measured that it covers 98% sRGB and 75% of DCI-P3 gamut, which is perfectly sufficient for a gaming device. The screen also enjoys an anti-glare coating, so using it in a room with one or more light sources is not going to be a hassle. However, one most noticeable issue I have encountered with Omen 15's display is the backlight bleed. Although it's practically unnoticeable when using the laptop for my regular office chores, but when I am streaming the newest episodes of Doom Patrol, for instance, the backlight bleed on the right edge of this display is a bit distracting. Okay, moving on, the Omen 15 arrives in two keyboard layouts, one with single zone backlighting like this one, while there's also another fancier version with 4-zone RGB lighting. HP says that this keyboard also boasts a 26-key rollover, so there shouldn't be any ghosting issue when playing esports titles like Dota 2 or simply when typing up documents. With the 1.5 mm key travel distance, I've had no trouble maintaining my usual typing speed on this thing. The keys do feel a little soft, but that's fine. More importantly, the key press is fairly quiet enough to prevent any degree of disturbances when you're in a library or a work setting. Unlike a couple of Asus laptops that I have tested recently, there's no problem with Omen 15's backlighting either. Even so, you can notice some compromises with this keyboard. Despite the 15 inches chassis, HP has not managed to fit in a dedicated numpad here. Anyway, Omen 15's glass trackpad does its job just fine. I would have liked it more if it were placed right in the middle, but this off-center position has not bothered me as much as I thought it would. Backed by Windows Precision drivers, this trackpad handles drag and drop, swipe, and other multi-finger gestures with excellent accuracy. And its palm rejection also works amazingly. The integrated left and right keys offer decent feedback as well. As expected from a gaming laptop, things are strictly average when it comes to the webcam. As you can see, videos look quite noisy, and make sure you're not sitting behind a window or any other light source since its dynamic range is flat out terrible. I am, however, impressed with the audio pickup from the built-in microphones, and turning on noise cancellation on the Omen Audio Control Center works wonders as well. Okay, now let's finally talk about its performance. Here, my unit features Ryzen 7 5800H octa-core processor, 100-watt TGP RTX 3070 graphics card, 16GB of dual-channel RAM, and 512GB of NVMe SSD. This configuration goes for about $1,659 in the US or some 1,60,000 rupees in India. Besides this, HP sells this gaming laptop with Ryzen 9 5900HX CPU or RTX 3060 GPU too. Likewise, you can expect great upgradability options here. There are two SODIMM slots that can take up to 64GB RAM alongside two M.2 PCIe slots in total. As you can see, for managing heat flow, there's a total of 3 heat pipes, 2 of which are shared between the CPU and the GPU, whereas the third one is dedicated to the GPU. From the outside, the Omen 15 has large air intake vents on the bottom, while it blows out hot air through the exhaust vents at the back and the right frame. Now, talking about my experience, as expected from such a powerful machine, I've had no trouble even with heavy multitasking. Keeping around a dozen of Chrome tabs open alongside light editing on Photoshop, typing up Word documents on LibreOffice, while also streaming music off Spotify, I am yet to notice a single instance where the Omen 15 has failed to keep apps in memory. Under the Omen Gaming Hub, you can set this machine to balanced or performance power mode while deciding between max, auto, and manual fan profiles. Usually, I would keep its power mode at balanced and the fan profile to auto, since this configuration delivers sufficient power while also keeping the fan noise in check. However, when I'm throwing multiple demanding applications into the mix, the Omen cranks up the speed of its dual fan setup to as fast as 5900 RPM. Plus, I am glad to report that the Omen 15 has one of the most efficient cooling systems I've ever tested on a gaming laptop. It can run all AAA titles at the highest of settings at a respectable FPS, but more importantly, this laptop does not get uncomfortably hot even after a couple of hours of continuous gaming. The heat is mostly localized at the middle of the keyboard deck, which is still cozy enough to lay your fingers on. Cyberpunk 2077 delivers a respectable 33 to 35 FPS on average at high texture quality with ray tracing set to ultra, whereas bringing down the ray tracing to medium gets you around 47 FPS. GTA 5 is easily playable at its highest graphic settings as it manages 75 to 78 FPS on average. I enjoyed playing Control with ray tracing and graphics presets set to high, since the Omen 15 gave a stable 51 to 56 FPS under those settings. Comparatively less demanding titles like CSGO can hit up to 224 FPS at the highest settings, which dip to the 176 to 184 territory after about an hour of gameplay. On the other hand, Valorant and FIFA 22 deliver around 146 to 155 FPS at the highest settings. Oh, by the way, I tested all these games and benchmarks under the performance power mode with the fan speed set to max. Finally, talking about the HP Omen 15's battery, it is fueled by a 6-cell 70.9 watt-hour battery. Under my regular office work, I got about 3 to 3.5 hours of screen on time when setting the brightness to 50%. So yeah, not so good numbers, but with such power-hungry silicon inside, we can't expect much either. It fills up via a 200-watt AC adapter in about 2 hours. Sadly, the onboard USB-C port does not support power delivery, so you're gonna have to carry around the huge power brick all the time. Alright, wrapping it all up, the 2021 edition of the HP Omen 15 is one heck of a gaming laptop. Its covert design means you can take it to professional work settings without raising any eyebrows as well. Moreover, it can run the most demanding games at their highest settings, while the keyboard deck does not get scorchingly hot either. Its display has great color reproduction, and the 144Hz refresh rate further elevates the gaming experience. But that's not to say that the Omen 15 does everything right. Its build quality feels a bit flimsy, and it could have seen better battery endurance as well if HP had delivered specifically low battery performance modes. All in all, if you are looking for a powerful gaming laptop that can also double as your professional workstation, the HP Omen 15 is a great choice. So guys, that was all for this video. Do subscribe to our channel if you like our content, and thank you so much for watching. I will see you in the next one.